Okay, there we go. And you said the last thing we saw was the title slide. So our objectives are still determine whether two sets of discrete data are correlated and determine and interpret strength, linearity, and slope of a correlation. I'm going to be introducing our International Day project. Part one is a research report. You'll have a first draft and a final submission. Later on, you'll have a poster due and then two sets of videos due. Your first video is an overview of what you did in your research report. So it explains what your topic was. So let's say if you had Vietnam and you decided you wanted to see if there was a relationship between the GDP, the gross domestic product of the nation, and your primary education attainment rates. So that's the percentage of people in Vietnam that are able to complete elementary school.
But Mr. Brendan, sorry, what's what did you say before? Because I came.
Okay, so we're introducing the International Day project, and we are just starting over now.
Okay.
So you're going to be working on a research report this week. I'll be assigning topics later, so towards the end of this video. The countries are Vietnam for 10th grade, USA for 11th grade, and then 12th grade actually gets to pick any country that is not the USA or the Vietnam. So for your research report, you will be picking two different aspects of your country. So for instance, GDP versus primary education rates. You'll be researching to find data on those that match for the same years. So I'd need to have at least 10 years worth of data for each one of your topics. If you want to split it up by month, you can, but you need 10 data points with both an X and a Y value. So in this case, you need 10 points for GDP that also match 10 points for primary education rates. So I'll show you how you can find that in a minute. You'll have two videos at the end. Your first video will overview what you did in your research report. It should be as short as possible, so like under a minute, just explaining what you did in your report as fast as you can. And I'll give more guidelines on that through WeChat and Skype. And then your second video, I'm going to give everyone one piece of what the process was. So Mick might have explain a correlation coefficient. So she would talk about the process for how we solve for R, which is overviewed in the PowerPoint from two lessons ago. Once she would finish with that, the next person's process video would start. So let's say Abby has exponential regression. So she would explain how we can take a function y equals mx plus b and graphs of x versus y and convert it to a best fitting exponential function. So if you convert all of your y values by taking the natural log of y, then you have ln y equals mx plus b, raise both sides to a base of e, and then you end up with an exponential function. So it's as fast as possible, explain one part of the process. And then because there are 17 of you this year, we're going to put all of those videos together, and you'll end up explaining every part of the process between all 17 of you. I will take all of your videos, both your research report and your correlation coefficient, and set up a digital kiosk with a touchscreen tablet on the 11th grade booth. So I will show you what that looks like really quick. Let me pull up last year's. Okay, if I can't find this really quickly, then I'll jump back into the explaining and come back to this afterwards. Here we go. Okay, this is a massive PPT, so it might take a second to upload. So basically it's going to be a kiosk that has all of your names on it, and then it'll also have a video that's running looping through all of your process videos. So any of the parents can come and click your name, and it will overview your research report, and also link to your research report with a QR code. So either in the end of your video or in your poster. Again, I've got like 20 videos in this PowerPoint, so it's going to take a second to upload. Okay, while we're doing that, I've got a list of possible topics here that you could take, and these are ones that I know you can find research for. If you want to do any other topic, you're welcome to. Just run it by me so I know no one else is doing the same topic. I've got a rubric, so this is what I'm going to be looking for your first draft for your research notes. And I'm going to go straight down this checklist and just check. Do you have this? Yes, or do you not have this? No. So for your first draft, it should be a fairly easy grade, where I can just say, yes, you've got it, or no, you don't. And then I'll write you some feedback for what you can do if you're not in MLA format or anything that needs to change as far as your citations and stuff go. So as long as you've got everything, I've got 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, 8 points that I'm actually grading showing. So you're gonna get some point out of 8, and then we'll just put that into the grade book for your first project grade for the draft. Your final research report will be a little bit more in depth for what I'm grading on this than just a checklist. Once we do your final drafts, that'll be about 3 weeks from now. I'll send you a rubric for that. Okay, then I've got rubrics for the posters and displays, which again we'll do after we do the final draft, so that'll be 5 or 6 weeks from now. And a sample report. So let me talk about research. We'll talk about how to get here. Okay, I've got a number of search engine tips here, and I'll show you how to use them really quick. So if you put something in quotes in a search engine, then you must include that exact phrase. So for instance, if I was looking for information for my child on what the booster schedule would be for measles vaccines, I might put vaccine and measles in quotes and then leave the booster schedule out of quotes. So this is the general idea for what I'm searching for and then what must be on the page. If I only want to include results from educational websites, then I could put a marker. So cite:/.edu limits all of my search results to educational websites. If you want to do the opposite, so exclude a domain of website, you can do -cite:/.com, and that will get rid of all commercial websites in your results. You can also do the same with a search engine term. So if I did maybe negative polio, then I would not get any results that mention polio. In this case, I might do negative pet. That way I know my vaccinations are for humans and not for animals. Okay, here's an example. If I go to a search engine, so here's, oops, we're in China. Here's Bing. If I wanted to search for, let's say, if I just search for vaccinations, okay, I've got tons of results. My first one is a government website would be okay, but I've got all of these .com websites that are commercial websites that I could probably not cite. So let's make this a little bit better. If I do cite:/.gov, okay, all of my website results are now from government websites that might be a little bit more trustworthy. If I didn't want to be that strict, so let's say maybe I don't trust the government, so I'm going to get rid of all government websites, and I don't want any commercial websites that are trying to sell me something, because they might give me poor information just because they're trying to get me to buy their vaccine. Then I might get rid of government and commercial websites. Now I've got organization websites and educational websites, international websites that are showing up in my results. If I want to make sure that my results on vaccinations include the term for measles, so I've got the specific type of vaccine that I'm looking for. Now you can see here in bold, every one of my website results includes the word measles exactly. Let's say I don't want any websites for pets. I could say -pet. So all of my vaccines should be dealing with humans, and I want to know what the booster schedule should be. So booster schedule. For measles vaccine specifically. So here's the recommended schedule for vaccines, including the word measles, not from a government or commercial website. Okay, any questions on how to optimize your search engine stuff?
No.
Cool. So hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier for you guys. If you do get completely lost, a good place to start when you're looking for information from all of these countries is the World Bank. So this is worldbank.org. They have massive data sets for all kinds of information that they collect annually from different countries. I don't know if I'm going to be able to load this while Skype is loading. Okay, there we go. So if you scroll down to data, you can either browse data by country, or you could just take all of their data, which take a lot longer to download. So I'm going to go by country, and we'll jump over to Vietnam just to see what they have. Okay, so I've actually done this beforehand. If you go data by country, Vietnam, and then download their data as a CSV document, so that's a document that you can open in Excel. So I'll open that here. Okay, here's all the data they have for Vietnam. I'm going to expand this indicator window just so we can see what they're talking about. Okay, so there's all of these indicators that you could use for your project. You want to use something that they have data for. So if I scroll through this, let's say I'm interested in education. So I'm hitting Control F. That allows me to find something on the page. Let's say they have pupil to teacher ratio, maybe? Yeah, cool. So here's pupil to teacher ratio for tertiary educations. This is what's the student to teacher ratio in college. So let me see if they have data for that. Okay, they do for these years over here. So I'm going to copy this entire row. Control C, copy, Control N, new document, Control V, paste. And I'm going to move that down one line. Okay, and then I need to know what these columns actually are. So I'm going to go all the way back up to the top of my page here. And I'm going to copy the top line where they had their columns. Okay, so here is where they named all of their columns. So again, Control C, copy, go into book one. I'm going to hit this row and Control V for paste. Okay, so here's all the years and then what that indicator was for the pupil to teacher ratio in tertiary education. So that's in college. You can see we've had more and more kids per teacher in college over the year, it looks like, as a general trend. Then what else do I want to check? Let's do GDP maybe. Gross domestic product maybe. Try that again. These are all percentages of GDP. Let's do... Okay, gross domestic income, GDP per capita, GDP growth. Okay. Here we go. So current GDP in US dollars. And we do have results for that in our later years, so we can use that. So again, I'm going to copy that row and paste that into our new book, just so it's a little bit easier to read. Okay, so now I've got several years here where we have both the student to teacher ratio in college and the GDP, and I could plug that into a calculator. So maybe I might use GDP for X. And then pupil to teacher ratio for Y, and see what kind of relationship there is between the two, if any. And we would use that for our research report. Okay, you don't have to use the World Bank to get your data. I just know that the World Bank already has this organized by country and has lots of different topics for you to choose from. So if you want to start there, that's a good place to start. Any questions on how you can search?
No.
Okay. Let's go into how to cite your data. Okay, so for citations, if anyone else has already cited your work, then you can use an automatic citation machine. I'm okay with that for my class as long as it ends up in MLA format. Um, I know that this isn't the same thing that your English teachers are telling you, but I would prefer that you guys use citation machines just because MLA citations change every 4 or 5 years, which means if you learn how it's done now, there will be minor changes by the time you've are at the end of college or starting grad school. So unless you're keeping up with it manually, it might be better to use a machine in the long run. I'm going to send you to noodletools.com, which is another way that you can set up citations according to the latest rules. However, it requires some manual inputs. This is if the work has never been cited before. They can't automatically find it in Google's citation machine. So that means somebody else has already cited it, and you're just kind of copying their citation that they've already done. Then you can create your own new citations through Noodle Tools. Okay, so let's say I want to take this this PDF here, and we'll cite that. So I'll get as much information as I can about it. This is from immunize.org, dated in 2017. I'm going to let that load while that's loading. I'm going to jump over to noodletools.com, which I've preloaded over here. Okay, so if you go to noodletools.com, when you first open the website, you'll see something like this. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and click Free Tools, and you'll end up here. So you can select which type of style that your teacher wants. So these are the 3 most common for college, either MLA, APA, or Chicago style. MLA is what you're going to use for most of your classes, so that's like a language arts type style. APA you might use for more science-based research papers, so this is the American Psychological Association. Any psychology classes you'll be using will definitely use APA. Then Chicago, some teachers still use Chicago. So I'm going to cite in MLA, and I can click what type of citation this is going to be. So let me load our PDF really quick. Okay, there we go. So we've got an adult immunization schedule, and it's given from the CDC Advisory Committee, hosted by immunize.org. Okay, so I'll jump back in here. So I believe we have a journal actually. Go back in here. Adult schedule. This is a new journal. Okay. I'm just going to cite this as a website then, so I'm not entirely sure. So here's our website with our URL copied over from here. Okay, we've got our date of publication, so we know that this is 2017. And I'll see if I can get a little bit more information than that. Okay. .org. This is Adult Immunization Schedule 2017. So I'm searching their website to see where that file was hosted. Okay, here's CDC Resources Immunization Schedules. We'll see if that links to the PDF we just had. So if it does, you might be able to get more information from that. Okay, while that's loading, I'll keep going with this, I guess. Okay, this is Recommended Adult Immunization Schedule for the United States, 2017. So I'm going to copy our title in here. zoom out a bit. Okay, we've got our document title. Contributors for the group, we have the Center for Disease and Control. They also cited a couple more organizations towards the bottom. Center for Disease Control, American Academy of Family Physicians. Okay, and I would keep adding contributors for all the ones that they cited at the bottom. Date of publication, I know that this is 2017. That's all we know so far. So I'm going to check that website and see if we can get any more information about it. Okay, these are the most recent schedules. So I could throw a VPN on, but I don't want to do that because I'm going to lose the Skype call, and check the Wayback Machine, and that would be able to take me back to 2017 so I could see when this was actually posted. But I'm just going to leave that as, we'll pretend we couldn't find it. I'm just going to leave that as 2017. For your most recent date of access, if you hit today, that'll post today's date. Okay, name of the website. This is immunize.org, which if we went to their website, this is the Immunization Action Coalition website. So I'm just going to copy that. Immunization Action Coalition. Published by, okay, about. I believe they're a part of the CDC too, but we'll see in a second. So slow. Is there anything else we can post here? Addition, version, revision, nope. Okay, that's all fine. Okay, they are a part of the Center for Disease and Control and Prevention, so CDC. Cool. So I'm going to copy that and paste that to their publisher. So Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Okay, and that looks good. So let's go ahead and save that. The contributor. Okay, there's our MLA citation here in the format that we would need to cite it in. So I'm going to copy that, and then we can paste that directly into whatever Word document you need. So that's Noodle Tools. It'll help you if there's never been a citation for that document that you're looking for. Again, if there already has been, you can just use your citation machine and work with that. Any questions on how to cite stuff?
No.
Okay, you can always go back and watch the recording if you need it. Alright, so let me jump into our example from last time since that's loaded. Okay, so this is our example from last time. We've got this video that I don't actually have linked here. So this was all the videos that were playing constantly on a loop. And then your parents can come and click on one of these. It will jump over into, this is Francis's video, which apparently I still have on this computer. So it'll jump through that video. If you want, you can post a QR code here that'll link to your document so that they could scan that while this is playing. That's just so your parents can find you easily. If they leave the kiosk and nothing happens, then as soon as the video finishes, I've got it programmed so that it will jump back to the main menu if nobody clicks anything. If another parent comes and they're not interested in Francis's video, they can hit return to menu and they won't have to wait. Oh, okay, there's the video. So all of your process videos are just running in a loop. But the end result will be a kiosk that your parents can use to just check your data, or that somebody just passing by can use to see what the math was about. Okay, so that's the goal. Let me break out of this one. Okay. Okay, so for your research report, for your draft, I'm looking for your best shot at MLA format. I need your citation in MLA and then everything that's on that checklist. I'm going to go ahead and issue topics really quick. So these are our fallback topics. Again, if you want to do anything else, you're welcome to do anything else. So let's see, who do we have in here? I've got Abby, Aileen, Andrew. Random list. Okay, Abby, Aileen, Andrew. I've got Kelly here. I've got Mick. I've got Kyle. Jenna. Niall, Sarah, and Nini. Oops. No. Okay. Is there anyone that's here that I did not list?
Nikita, James.
Okay, Nikita is here. James, are you here? Okay, James is not here. Jin is not here. Tommy's not here. Kenichi's not here. Eric's not here. Okay, I think that's it.
Where's Nikita?
He has a meeting with Green.
Okay, so Nikita's not here right now either. Okay, then randomize. Okay, so Kyle, it looks like you've got first pick for grade 11. So for those of you who are waiting, I've posted this in the WeChat, so if you can check your WeChat list, or in Skype if you're on your computer, you'll be able to pull out this list and kind of get an idea for what you want. Okay, so Kyle, I've got movie ticket sales and life expectancy, patent applications by residents, and annual movie ticket sales. So all of these different topics. Is there anything that interests you? Okay. Next is Niall, then Jana, then Mick. Jana, you're grade 12. Okay, Kyle, say again.
Population growth and employment rate.
Okay, so that's Kyle. Niall, you're up. Okay, if I zoom out, can you guys still see? So I can get some of grade 12s on here. Cool. Jana, you've got first pick for grade 12. So if you want to pick anything on that list, you can too. And then Niall, you've got next pick for grade 11. So either of you can chime in.
Can we pick anything?
So Jana, you can pick anything. I'd like you to pick from the grade 12 list. If you want to look for anything else, you can. Since you don't have a country, you've got a much more wide open project. If anyone else wants to do something that's not on the list, you're welcome to do anything that's not on the list as well. Just run it by me so I make sure you're not both doing the same project. Okay, hello Eric.
Sir?
Yeah.
I want to do carbon dioxide emission and military spending.
Okay, so that's Niall for CO2 emissions and military spending. Okay, then Jana, you're open to anything you want as that fallback list for grade 12. Again, if you don't want to do any of these, that's okay. Just write your name down for one of them and then find anything else you want to do. And I will change your topic later. This is just to make sure you've got something that I know there's data for that you can find. Mick, you'll be after Jana. Aileen, you've got your first pick from the grade 10 list, which is down here. Then Abby, Abby's grade 12, I believe, right?
I'm grade 11.
You're grade 11. Okay, so you're Abby, your next pick for grade 11, Jana for grade 12, and Aileen for grade 10. So any of you can chime in for a topic you want.
Can I do the fourth topic?
Fourth topic. Okay, so that's Eileen for population versus student to teacher ratio in elementary.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Kelly, what grade are you?
Grade 10.
Grade 10. Okay, so Kelly, you're next for grade 10.
Okay. Oh.
Okay, again, we've got Jana and Abby can both pick for your grades respectively next.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So any of you can chime in.
Can I choose infant
Ben,
infant death rate?
Okay,
Can I have the fifth one?
that's... Oh, not Jana, that was Abby. Abby, okay, and then you wanted 4, 5. Okay, so this is urban population versus female enrollment in college for
Yeah.
Kelly. Okay,
Yeah.
Kelly,
Thank you.
no problem. Okay, then Sarah. Sarah is grade 10, I believe. Okay, Sarah, you're next for grade 10. Jana's next for grade 12. Nini next for grade 11. So any of you can give me a topic?
Can I just do the first one?
Okay, so Jana. If I do this, can I get more in? Okay, can you guys still see if I do that so we can see everything?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So again, Jana is picking for grade 12 right now, Sarah for grade 10, and Nini for grade 11. Mick will be after Jana.
We'll just do the first one.
Okay, is that Jana?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jana, life expectancy versus CO2 for now. Okay,
Can I pick last one?
was that Sarah?
Yeah.
Okay, so Sarah for trademark applications versus female enrollment in college. Okay, then Andrew, are you grade 10 or grade 11?
grade 10.
Grade 10. Okay, Andrew, you're next for grade 10.
Oh.
Mick next
Can
for
I-
grade 12. Okay.
Can I do the third one?
Okay, sure. Andrew. Okay. I heard someone.
Mr. Brandon,
Yes.
can I do U.S. military spending and global literacy rate?
Okay,
Like
so
the
this
one
is.
after app.
I think that's Nini.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So this is Nini. Okay.
Thank you.
And then Eric just joined us. So Eric, your grade 10 as well, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you can pick one of these last two that are remaining. Again, you don't have to do this topic, so if it's not something you like, that's okay. You can pick something else, anything else that you want. Just run it by me so that I know you're not doing the same topic as someone else. So this will be your fallback that I know you have research for, if you can't find anything that you like. Hi, Tommy.
Mr. Brandon.
Yes.
The first topic.
First topic for Eric. Okay, who's left? Okay,
Mr. Brandon,
yes.
can I pick the second one?
Okay, Mick for number 2, I believe. Mick, that is you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Mick. Okay, then we just had a couple people join. So that's Tommy, you're up. So you can pick any topic you want.
I will do the military spending and the number 316 per 1,000 people.
Okay, that's Tommy.
Plus,
So that's seeing if the military spending correlates with the number of doctors per capita. Okay, did I miss anyone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I think that's everyone. Okay, so these are all, again, fallback topics. If you find something that you're more interested in that you want to do, feel free to pick any other topic you want to do. Just send me a message on WeChat. That way I can tell you yes or no somebody else is doing that topic or not. Odds are no, and you'll be able to do it. There's a guide that has an overview and a sample project for everything you need to do for the first draft that I've sent on WeChat and Skype. And I'll be looking for you to upload those on course sites by Thursday at midnight. I am grading you based on the rubric that is here on the first page. So it says 25% research notes. I'm just grading that for your first draft. It is literally a checklist where I'm going to go down and check off. You have this, you don't have this. You have all of these. So that would be, 10 out of 11 points. And that's what would go into the gradebook. Any questions on what you're doing?
When is it?
Yeah.
When is the due date was the question? Due date is Thursday at midnight.
All of this?
You're not doing all the process video, correlation video, poster display. You're just doing your first draft of the research notes. So I want you to do your research and then do the math to try to find the correlations. That's the same thing you guys have been doing with the linear regression stuff on your quiz. And then try to cite where you got your research from in MLA format. As long as you've got everything that's on this checklist, you should be fine.
So we're doing the first 25%.
Yes, so you're just doing what's under research notes right now. And then I'm grading you based off of this checklist here.
Oh no. Okay.
I do have my sample for what it would look like. So this is like a what a perfect project would look like. I think I cut off my citations for that one, but I do have a second sample from a student sample from last year that I'll be sending as well.
Okay.
So that's also in the WeChat and Skype chat. Okay, so this is either last year or the year before, I think. So I took her name out, but this was her project with all of her data. She's got her null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, and the results from her linear regression t-test. So here's linear, logarithmic, exponential, and power. She found the highest r squared and then wrote a conclusion based on her r squared and her p-value, what her relationship would be, and then what happens when you derive that relationship and what it means, and then her works cited. Okay, so
Okay.
if you guys have any more questions, you can feel free to stay on or ask me through WeChat as you go. If not, you guys are free to go. Sorry for keeping you so long.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
But just a random.
Yes.
Can we ask for the answers for our tests?
Yes. So I am still waiting on a test from Kenichi. It's the reason why I've been holding off. Because Kenichi does not have internet access during the week, since his whole family is working using their only access to the internet. So if I